What's up, Sportman family? It's your boy Sporkman, and welcome back to another video. We're looking at YCS Cancun here, round 3, and yeah, you can kind of see the room is kind of empty. As it says in this little comment here, this room was full AF last year, and it's no surprise to this one. I think a lot of people are recognizing that, yes, this is going to be probably the outlook of Yu-Gi-Oh! The next few YCS or just tournaments, your locals. A lot of these things are going to be seen as pretty empty for the most part because people are fed up of the stale format. Now, not to say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying, it probably isn't, I'm not going to lie. It just seems as though Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have that same crisp feel as it once did last year, since it's just been the same old deck topping again and again, or even the same top 3 decks just being prominent, and people are, they're bored, and I would be bored too, and I think a lot of people would be. It's not something that you enjoy seeing again and again and again and again at every single competitive tournament, at least months, and just seeing the same thing over and over. So until another ban list hits, until we get some more different archetypes hitting, the tier 0 format to go in the different direction where we have a lot of decks competing, a lot of different decks, giving the game a little bit more of a healthier stance, we're going to see outcomes of a lot of events looking like this. And I don't think it's surprising. We talked about pricing being the issue in the past. We talked about a lot of just people getting fed up, like I said, of just competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, getting fed up of the game, how expensive it is. There's a lot of aspects to this. Right now, Konami has made efforts to make a lot of reprint sets these past few years. I think maybe overdid it to an extent here and there, but again, you do have to feed into the budget players a little bit because they do need to afford the cards to play the game, because it is a children's card game, even though it's really not anymore at this point. But they need to have avenues to bring people back into the game. So I get where they were trying to go with that as well. It just, putting too much avenue on that as well and not focusing on other things probably depleted their game just a little bit. And then obviously now we're looking at this being a problem and probably will set off alarms with Konami, as a lot of their sets and general, their competitive tournaments are going to see a decline. And we'll probably be like, okay, we have to start really addressing and changing some things and listening to our community to actually make these correct changes and listen to the YouTubers that have been giving them the advice of what to do, and them now starting to apply those changes, which I actually saw here, which they actually switched the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, with the Steam Deck. Now, is this the best prize in the world? No. But they're trying to make efforts and change a little bit. Now, I'll take anything at this point. If you're trying to, at this point, listen and try to change here and there of what the pricing is, okay, fine. I'll give you some credit. Let one step at a time, right? One step at a time. And I think it's the right direction, but there needs to be more, right? We always talked about it. There needs to be more changes for this avenue of aspect of pricing to really be on the upward end of things, so that way people don't complain about this type of stuff, right? So yes, is it a nice change of scenery of what you can win? 100%. Is it still the most amazing thing? No. So again, time will help this, and people complaining and voicing their opinion has made this possible. Now, people always said, why are you voicing your opinion? Why? They're not going to listen. Well, look, they're listening, right? To some extent, right? Not entirely, but to some extent, they did make this change. So they have to be listening to some regard, since Nintendo Switches have been given out for years now at being the same pricing. So yeah, there's a little fine-tuning things. So yeah, the more you voice your opinion, the more things will happen. So this is why we need to keep doing these things. This is why we need to keep making these videos. Myself, other YouTubers, people in the social media community, a lot of people, right? If you attend events, I'm sure they have surveys at those events. You take those surveys, you let them know. These are the feedback that Konami needs to listen to, so that way they can make their game much more successful and where it needs to go. We don't need outcomes of it looking like this, because this is what makes the game, in all honesty, start to go in the more dying area, which again, I'm not saying that it is, but it starts to go that way when it starts to look like this. And if it starts to look like this event after event after event, then we might have actually a problem here. But for the most part, I'm going to say that this is just a volume that needs to be tuned up for Konami to listen in to see, okay, changes need to be made. But I think people are starting to speak with their wallet, which is good. People are starting to show Konami by showing these types of images like, yeah, this is what's happening now. Less players showing up. So, again, more actions will then now take place. So, again, great job by the community for not showing up, I should say, in this regard. And also keeping their money held tight right now as they need to make those changes. And us allowing them to make those changes as well. So I'm looking forward to where the game is going. I think that they are starting to listen just a little bit. I think that the game can go in the right direction. I'm liking what I'm seeing for the future products that we're having. So I'm going to be on the more positive end of things that yes, this doesn't look good. This is a negative aspect of what it can look like for years to come if things don't change. But with what I'm seeing in the future and products and sponsorships and things that they're trying to do, let's give them some time. Let's be a little patient because I know I can be stubborn myself and argue and be upset, but I'm trying to be a little bit more patient with them. So if they're going to start doing better things, we're going to start giving them the benefit of the doubt. So let's see what happens these next few months, and let's hope that these occurrences really wakes them up. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is going to be the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! And no matter what happens now, this is what it's going to look like? Or do you think, hey, they're waking up, they're going to start changing? Because, hey, again, the pricing of the Steam Deck, that's one change, not a big one, but one change that they're listening maybe in the right direction. And again, a lot of the products looks pretty good, right? We got the Blue Eye Structure Deck coming out, Bananas are coming out. I know a lot of people are 50-50 about that as well, so we'll see how that turns out to be. There's a lot of sets that look really good as well, like Supreme Darkness looks really good. Crossover Breakers, I'm not gonna lie, that looks kind of shaky, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's a lot of great things right now, voice actors showing up to a lot of great events. I actually have an event to talk about tomorrow on Saturday that we'll cover on a video, which it was an incredible event here that happened in New York, but we'll cover that very soon and talk all about that because I do think that voice actors are also a huge reason as to why I think the game will succeed in the future, and them showing up to events like they did in New York this past week is reasons to why that the game probably won't die anytime soon as well because of them as well, and because we have a really great fan base and positive community in terms of loving this game, and hoping that Konami turns its wheels in the other direction and starts to give us what we want as well. So we'll see what happens here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll catch you next one. Please comment, and peace out, YouTube.